These mushrooms help you focus while lowering stress, keeping you calm but sharp.
By the end of Alan Wake 2, the Lake House, that DLC run that we're gonna see, you've lost your chance to. Mello, are you telling me this crab's been spying on me this whole time? Yeah, that's what that crab's a spy. That crab's a spy? All right, dude, I can surf that sword. You can really surf anything if you try hard enough. You know what? We're gonna go watch Mello surf a sword. You all should stay here though, because we've got The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, the best surfing game in speedrunning, coming up right next. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it. Later, bros.
Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. I hope y'all are having a fantastic first day of Awesome Games Done Quick 2025. Yeah, let's feel the woos. We are coming to you live from chilly Pittsburgh, powered by Twitch, and benefiting the Prevent Cancer Foundation, a wonderful cause. I'm Pibby in a top hat, and I'll be your hype-fueled host for our next couple of runs. Now, I'm absolutely delighted to be able to tell you that we are currently prepping to set sail for Wind Waker Any % with the one, the only, Linkus 7. Now that's a happy crew. While we are busy debarnacling our favorite red boat, y'all have a perfect opportunity to real quick grab a hydration break. So hydrate, stretch, ready your sea legs, and we'll be right back, everyone.
Emmy-winning The Traitors is back for an all-new season. Here we go again.
To get the job done, I'll stab you in the back. I have a thirst for blood.
That is torture. If you carry on with that cocky attitude, you might get yourself in trouble.
Baby, I'm gonna be Employee of the Month.
Oh, I've missed this.
If I were them, I'd be scared.
Things are about to get murderous. Only metaphorically.
Oh.
When you shop Pops everyday low prices, you never have to haggle to get the lowest price for the best features.
Honey, I want a tranquil farmhouse bedroom with built-in headboard lights, cedar and felt-lined drawers, USB ports, and storage drawers in the bed, all for $1,800 less than other national retailers.
You drive a hard bargain.
Aren't they adorbs? Shop Bob's everyday low prices and see how much you can save when you dare to compare. Bob's Discount Furniture.
We aren't building electric vehicles because it's trendy. We're building them to save our planet. To save it from all those soulless, self-driving sleep pods everyone else keeps polluting our streets with! That's why we're doing it.
Let's review. We're not going to talk about traffic or weather. If anyone brings up lawn care, I will handle it. Hosting can be extremely difficult for young homeowners turning into their parents.
Oh, are you done with this? I'll just take that.
Okay. He's still drinking.
Oh, look what the cat...
Nope. Let's try again. You wouldn't mind? It gets ugly. You can either take it off, or I'll take it off you. Yeah.
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
You Look
Doesn't
at-
want it.
Welcome back, welcome back. All right, now before Wind Waker can be all anchors away, may I interest you in a quick thank you to some of the wonderful people who make events like Awesome Games Done Quick possible. Like... Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection is packed with classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Games from the very early days of dueling. Experience titles never before released in the West, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster Capsule and the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Get Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection when it launches on Steam and Nintendo Switch on February 27th, 2025. Also, a huge shout out to Back to Black. Back to Black 2025 is the upgrade to Unapologetically Black and Fast and is going live on the GDQ Twitch channel February 6th to February 9th, benefiting Race Forward. Mark your calendars and check out the schedule by typing !BTV in chat. For more info about the new all-black speedrunning community, Black in a Flash, go to gamesdonquick.com/blackinaflash. That name is so clever, it's so cute. All right, I hear that without further ado, we are in fact ready to set sail. So please give it up for our captain, Linkus7 and Wind Waker Any %.
All right, hello everybody. Okay, first things first, file name. What is the file name for the bid war?
Our file name choice, as decided by our lovely donors, is Luigi.
Luigi, okay. Perfect. Luigi. All right, hopefully I didn't spell that wrong. Okay, we have a long intro cutscene coming up at the start, so I'm gonna start the run and then run the introductions. Trust me, we'll have plenty of time. So let's start that timer in 3, 2, 1, go! All right, anyways. Hello everybody, so my name is Linkus7 and today we're going to be doing a run of Wind Waker. This is going to be the any % category, so beat this game as fast as possible. There's going to be plenty of glitches and skips. If you look at the time estimate, it will be around 1 hour, which is probably a little bit shorter than you're used to for how long a game like Wind Waker should take. So we're in for a treat. Also on the couch, I have 2 commentators with me.
Yeah, I'm EJ125, a runner and glitch hunter.
Hey, I'm TrogWW, I'm a tool-assisted speedrunner.
And researcher. Don't undersell yourself. But yeah, so coming up now, so Wind Waker, there has been a lot of development. So last time that Wind Waker any % was at Games Done Quick was all the way back to 2020. And in the last 5 years since then, a lot has happened. The times have dropped down by almost 20 minutes, which is a lot for an any % category. And it's going to be packed with glitches. It's almost going to be hard to explain everything that's going to be happening because it's going to be non-stop. The first thing that we definitely want to explain is this intro. Very important lore, don't forget. Evil man. Hero. Yep, that's pretty much it. So, we're going to get through that. Now, immediately when we get into Outset Island, we're going to get into the glitches straight away. So I'm actually going to start by explaining a couple of fundamental things that you might be wondering about this run, because there's not going to be time when we actually get into gameplay of a controller link. So first things first, why is the game in Japanese? Very simple, text is faster. The glitches are about the same between the versions, but the text saves almost 20 minutes if you were to do like a full playthrough. So you definitely want to play that. The second thing that we're going to be getting into immediately is trying to abuse the overall mechanics. If you think about Wind Waker, you always think about the boat, you think about the ocean, anything like that. So that is always going to be the biggest hindrance when it comes to getting around Wind Waker or sequence breaking. It's always going to be, how can we get around the ocean? And the Nintendo's developers' way of...
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but while we're doing some lore, can I announce that we hit $100,000? Excellent job, everyone! Oh, thank you so much! Continue with the pirating, please!
Amazing job. And don't forget to donate, great cause. But yeah, so when we get into it, so the way Nintendo's trying to prevent from this, right, is you have a boat. And he has a bunch of dialogue. He's constantly going to be telling you, hey, you're not supposed to go here yet. And he turns you around and you can't get around. In this run, we are not going to sail a single time. And that is through a lot of different glitches. So, in general, Nintendo loves this one oversight in their games, which is negative speed. So if you ever watched a classic speedrun like Super Mario 64, you're going to be noticing that they're going to be doing backwards long jumps, right? They're going to be doing backwards long jumps on the staircase to get a ton of speed and go up. And there's a bunch of other games that have similar exploits, and it all comes down to the fact that they never think about the player going backwards, so they only count forward momentum. And that is the same thing in Wind Waker, because it's a GameCube game. It looks great, but it is almost 25 years old now, so it does remain one of those classic games that has this exploit, and we're going to be taking advantage of that a lot throughout this run. So we're finally coming up on the end of this long cutscene. I feel like I've been talking for forever. Yeah, so now we're coming into it. The first objective we have is to get off of the island, the outside island, right? It's a really long island. It's kind of like a tutorial slash, lore island. It takes about 15-20 minutes for a speedrun to get through, and maybe an hour if you're a casual, right? You're supposed to go around and talk to all the NPCs, get my sword, and get through all the equipment. Here's her sister. Just gonna start the cutscene. So when we get control over Link, exactly. So throughout the years of Wind Waker speedrunning, there's been an exploit that if you've ever seen a Wind Waker run, you will know about. It's called super swimming, right? It's something that is very common, and it's usually done through the use of the Wind Waker item. And we still do have to have that in the run. However, as the years have gone on, and as speedrunners have wanting to get more and more time saves out of this run, we've started to look into alternate ways to super swim. So a couple of years ago, there was a big meme going around about Pausa, DJ Pausa. And we basically tried to perform the super swim glitch by pause buffering the game. But that's no longer a thing. So the main exploit is just you want to turn around in the water, and you need to turn around more times than you're swimming. So that means at least 15 times per second, you need to be turning around. And, it's not realistic for a human to be turning around more than 15, 20 times a second, without pause buffering, right? Think again, because I have spent the last few years working up a bicep for this specific glitch. So, only one though, because, I'm not actually going to do anything physical, just speedrun. So, you're going to be noticing that this is going to look quite different from what you're used to. So I'm going to enter this water right now, and I'm just going to show you before I start this. You're going to see this very easily. So if I'm swimming right, I'm gaining speed, and if I'm turning around, you can kind of see that Link slows down. He doesn't really move. That's what we're going to be exploiting. We're going to be exploiting the turning around mode. So what I'm going to try and do is this. Let's see if I can get this. So I can't really talk much because it's really intense, so give me a second. So I'm trying to turn around as quickly as I can, and normally I just do this in one pause, but I'm going to pause. So I'm going to try and turn around, and every time I'm turning around, I'm getting a little bit more negative speed. And my objective is to get at least 500 units. And for context, as a casual, you would only get maybe like, you would maybe get only around 25, 30 units. So now I'm switching to a normal controller. This controller is not my worn out one, because you might be able to imagine that trick is quite intense in the controller. So what I'm going to try and do right now is I'm going to try and go for this air refill spot. And if I got enough speed, let's see if we did. Hopefully we did.
Well done.
Then we can initiate a super swim. No pause buffers, just a very tired Swedish boy. I'm getting very unlucky right here with a speed glitch. charging up more speed. So right now, I'm doing what I was doing before. It's just doing it automatically for me. So the camera is basically turning around every single frame right now. And my goal here is to go here, get an area fill, and then hopefully, if I don't drop this, I should be able to make it across the entire ocean, and hopefully make it all the way to Dragon Roost. Let's see. And we did it! Okay. Okay.
Easy game.
Yeah, that was the trick I was the most nervous about, because that trick is already very physical to do, and yeah, doing it with nerves, not easy. But yeah, so I turn around there, and you saw right there generally how the super swing glitch works, right? I'm turning around, and as long as you're turning around, you're gaining negative speed, just like Mario 64. In the beginning, I do to build it up here with my secondary controller. This is a normal controller, but very worn out. So yeah, flick the analog stick up and down. If I do it fast enough, I can get enough speed, and I can get off the island. And now we're all the way at Dragon Roost. And the very convenient thing is, even though we don't have King of Red Lions, even though this cutscene is totally messed up because, you know, the boat is not here, I will still be receiving my Wind Waker because this cutscene is just placed here. And this completely breaks the game. And the most important aspect of the Wind Waker is that I can do super swims without having to do it manually now. So, if you've ever played a Zelda game with an instrument, which is the majority of them, you're probably going to notice that, you know, when you're playing an instrument, there's a couple of, you know, special properties the game developers put in. So, for example, right now, if I'm facing away from the camera and I take out the Wind Waker, Link is going to turn around, right? You want to see Link. You don't want to, you know, look on his back when he's playing the instrument. And we're going to take advantage of that. So by performing this glitch called Storage right here, which is done by diving with the Wind Waker and canceling right before you land, I'm going to be able to play with the Wind Waker out. I'm not just going to be stuck playing a song, but the important thing is, since the camera always has to face Link, if I just hold up in the water, he'll be turning around automatically for me. I don't have to, like, turn around anymore. So, because the game is, that's unfortunate, Sploosh. So because Link is programmed to always face the camera, if I'm just holding up to turn around, camera is turning around for me, and I'm able to charge speed. And now we're going to be able to do super swims.
And so now he doesn't need to do the manual version of this at this point. He can just hold up on the stick, be able to gain speed.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, while we're swimming, do you have time for another quick announcement?
Yeah, of course.
Because we also have met the Lord of the Rings cosplay incentive. Like, while we were super swimming. By the way, oh my god, I'm staring with awe, and so are the donors. So please, if you have any time for donations, we have so much.
Trust me, there is plenty of cutscenes later on. It's very intense at the start, and then we're going to split down.
Oh, I love cutscenes.
Yeah.
Ooh, beautiful.
So I'm going to super swim into this submarine, and you're going to see something interesting. I'm going to go up to this guard. He's going to go, huh? He's going to throw down the lantern, and then it's going to bring me from the overworld, and it's pretty much going to wrong warp me straight into the jail cell of Forsaken Fortress. And basically, in Wind Waker, right, there's two moblins. There's a moblin with a lantern and in the overworld, and then there's the guard. But to save resources, Nintendo pretty much has the same enemy for both of those things. It just checks if you have a sword. Because normally, if you don't sequence break, you would always have a sword, and it would act as a normal enemy. But because of my sequence breaking, the game thinks I should be in Forsaken Fortress right now, so it throws me in jail. I head over here, and now we're in Forsaken Fortress, and the main purpose for going here is just kind of to get the sword and get a couple of story things progressed, because we have to still progress it somewhat to be able to beat the game. Right here before, I'm coming up on another few glitches, but we definitely have time for a couple of donations while I'm kind of going through here more casually with the enemy.
Wonderful, wonderful. I've got $5 for you from Beetle, who says, oh, wow, a customer. He's swimming. Oh, heck, he's going really fast, and he's gone. Bye. That donation went to the cosplay incentive. Thank you so much. We also have $250 from Frozen Truly, who says, good luck on the run. Nice jacket, you Giga Chad.
Thanks, Frozen. I appreciate it. Beautiful. Yeah, So while we were reading some donations right there, we picked up a couple of rupees. We went down to the bottom right there, and that is because to activate the sword. So the game doesn't actually physically drop the sword. It just checks if you were around the landing area to know should the sword be placed out or not, which is why we went down there. Now, when I'm on the inside of Forsaken Fortress, I'm going to try and speed this up to get to the end as quickly as I can. So I'm going to get the storage glitch again. Now, storage, you're going to hear if I press A, by the way. The chest is trying to open, but it's not too happy. So, remember how I said earlier that I'm able to play in the Wind Waker mode? Well, with this storage glitch, that's not the only thing I'm able to play. So I can interrupt opening up a chest. So I'm pretty much playing while a chest is opening right now. And the reason that's so important is because the game actually changes how your collision works while opening up a chest, which lets us do some very funky things. So because the game is trying right now to open up a chest, I can kind of just climb up all of this collision, maintain it, get to the very end of Forsaken Fortress, and
get paid.
And get paid for it, exactly. Thank you. And now that's pretty much Forsaken Fortress. It's going to be a very broken run. There's going to continue to be more and more things like this. And there's just so much things. If you're a game developer and you're watching this, I'm sure that there's a lot of, tricks you do behind the scenes to try and make things work. So, as just a quick example there, why that chest, does that collision it does, it's just to perform the animation in game. It's not a pre-rendered cutscene. So to be able to have, going to the chest and do, the traditional do-do-do-do-do-do, and, he turns around, shows off the item, he's super excited. For him to be able to, lean into the chest and do that, they had to shrink his hitbox. But because we don't finish it and we're kind of in that cutscene, we get to keep it and we just get to use its effect for our advantage, which was used to climb up there. But now we're at the end of Forsaken Fortress 1. We got a quick fight going and then a couple of cutscenes, so this will be another great time for donations, which I'm sure we have plenty of.
Oh, we have so many. Great job, everyone. I've got $25 for you from Anonymous, who says, Link has so many lakes to cross. Surely he is bound to come across a lake house. Can we get some rupees for the Alan Wake Lake House incentive? Great reminder, we may have met that Lord of the Rings cosplay incentive, but we also are trying to get $20,000 for that bonus lake house run for Alan Wake 2 later in the night. That is currently $12,000 away about, but that has gone down by several $1,000s in the past few minutes, so y'all can do it. Do you have time for one more?
Oh, we've got plenty of time.
Oh, wonderful. I've got $10 for you from Linkus6, who says,
all right.
Linkus7, what happened to Linkus9? Did you eat him?
It's just like Microsoft. Sometimes we skip versions.
Excellent. A simple answer. There you go, Linkus6. Don't worry about it. I've also got $20 for you from Agent Otter, who says, Link is playing Wind Waker? Shut up and take my red rupee. Do you have time for any more?
Like I said, this is a long cutscene. We got plenty of time.
I always forget how long some of these cutscenes are. We've got $25 from Anonymous, who says, a Legend of Zelda limerick. A great swordsman, Link was his name, with a... Am I reading this right, like a limerick correctly? A great swordsman, Link was his name, with his sword that was evil's bane. He defeated some moblins, the sword cut through bokoblins, and with it even Ganon was slain. Very nice, very nice. Also, quick shout out to $1,200. Exactly. From Anonymous. Oh my goodness, so generous. And that was to help us hit 100K, and they just said 100K hype. Exactly. Thank you so much for your generous donations. Do you have time to squeeze in one or two more?
One more.
One more? Perfect. $25 for you from the Jams, who says, good luck to all the runners. May the Triforce be with you.
Thank you. Yeah, so now we're at the end of the cutscene, finally. We've still got a couple of cutscenes we can't skip that are kind of, mainline ones. This one we have to kind of watch because we have to get King Red Lions to spawn into the overworld here, or there's going to be some problems later. But if you've watched any like previous runs, like for example, AGDQ 2020, like I mentioned, the last 90% run, so far everything has been very similar, except for doing that first trick fully unbuffered without not buffering the game. Everything has been almost the same. This is when things start to change. You would imagine that a 20-plus-year-old game would have everything figured out, especially as broken as Wind Waker. But in the past about 3 or 4 months, the entire game has changed. So starting after this cutscene, the whole route is different until the very end. Nothing will be the same. So if you have not watched Wind Waker in the past 3 months, it's not going to be recognizable, and there are plenty of major skips. And I actually think while we have one more cutscene going on, the first main glitch that we're coming into, which is called door cancel, I think you want to talk about that, Trog, because you are very familiar with using door cancel, which is a new thing discovered.
Yes, so Linkus here is going to get storage one more time like he's been using before, and he's going to be using storage to interrupt opening a door. And just like we saw him using it for opening a chest, it's going to alter his collision properties. And so what it's going to end up doing is he's going to cancel the text from the chemical elements as he's opening a door. And what that will end up doing is it will remove almost all of his collision. You can walk through walls. You can climb insane geometry. It's going to be really insane.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely broken. If you thought that the chest storage we showed earlier was broken, this one is big. And you're also going to notice that I'm rescuing Tingle, which seems very strange. But here is a very useful item, the Tingle Tuner. So the Tingle Tuner is used in any percent runs now. If you don't know, currently in front of me right here, I have a Game Boy Advance connected with a GBA cable. And this is also one of the main things. We're going to get into it later, but there were some huge discoveries made around glitches with the Tingle Tuner, which completely changed the route. So the Tingle Tuner and doors are the two things that completely changed this route. So now once I'm finally done with Tingle, and we got all of our items that we need around here, it is now time to start setting up these glitches. So it's going to be very hard. Hopefully we can do it. But my first step is pretty much like Trog said, to set up that I can somehow interrupt opening up a door. So I'm going to do that by getting storage. And remember earlier I said that like you can play while certain things are up? We're going to do the same, but with a text. So all that really means is just that I can play while a text box is on the screen instead of being stuck talking to him. And what I'm going to try and do, and this is frame perfect, so hopefully we can get it first try, but we can easily retry otherwise, is I'm going to get the text box up on the screen right now. And then what I have to try and do is open the door and then finish this text box exactly 2 frames after I open it. And if I do that, I get this glitch. So you're going to see right here that I can walk through this pillar, not just like a little bit, but all the way through. And that's because when you open up a door in Wind Waker, the game actually gives you no clip, enters the loading zone, and then it's just done. But by canceling it and interrupting it, I will maintain that stage. So all wall collisions that are in front of me, not underneath me, but in front of me, will just not run. So I'm going to get storage here, and then we're going to super swim right there. We can just go underneath the island. Like I said, collision in front of me doesn't exist anymore. So gonna prepare a storage. Gonna prepare a storage right here. So right now I'm super swimming, but I still have that property I talked about earlier. So I am able to go through walls. So what I'm gonna do here is super swim all the way to the bottom. And what we want to do right now is get the items to beat the game. So there's a very few items you need to actually beat the game. One of them is the DQ leaf. So we're going to be heading down to Forest Haven now. I'm going to be in this corner right here to try and get an air refill.
This refill can troll you sometimes.
Yeah, air refills are
nice.
not that.
Not even close.
Go. Yeah, it can be a little bit scary. It's not 100%. So now I have enough air. I'm going to go down here. And you're going to see why I wanted the special collision. So it's going to be very broken. So the island is loaded now. I'm at Forest Haven, but remember I have that special collision. So first, getting on top of the island. Very easy. Just going to clip up here. We're at the top right now. We just can teleport it thanks to the water. Then I'm going to do this setup right here where I'm going to try and line myself up with this wall here. And that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to line up this texture here, and then if I do a roll and a side hop, I should just clip through the wall and land right here. Then we're gonna slowly walk up here. Now, like I said, the collision is very weird. It will fail to check a collision in front of you, but not underneath you. So what I'm gonna do is this. So I'm going to do a jump slash and slash my sword very fast. And what's going to happen is Link is going to land on the ground. He's going to fall off because he gets knocked back by the sword. He's going to land on the ground, and I'm just going to be mashing my B button here to continuously do jump slash, to climb this wall all the way to the top, and hopefully, if I got close enough there, when I land on the water, if I got close high enough, otherwise we can retry it, but by getting close to that platform right there, if you land in the water, the game thinks that you were at the top. Unfortunately, I didn't get close enough. So if it thinks you were at the top of Forest Haven and it fell down, to help the casual player, it will just simply respawn you at the very top. Hey, we get to see the slashes again. That's fun. Yeah, so it tries to help the player out by spawning you at the top. So we're going to be able to enjoy that. So I'm going to walk up here again. It's pretty precise because the angle wants to be pretty nearby. That should work. So let's go up another time and hopefully we get this.
And it's important that he enters the loading zone through the top here. This is the only way we can get the deck relief before the grappling hook.
Yeah, and he's moving very slowly because the slightest little misstep, you go through the collision, as he mentioned earlier.
Yeah, just as easy as it is to, as simple as it looks to go through walls, it's just as easy to go through walls when you don't want to.
Yeah, that's why, yeah, exactly. That's why you don't want to like accidentally clip down. You just want to get to the top. Hopefully that one worked. Really? Okay. Let's do it a third time. The climb is fine. Yeah, you might be wondering why we're even doing this. Like, why don't I just walk through that loading zone? It's right there, right? So, like I said earlier, I want to get the DQ leaf. Now, to get the DQ leaf in a vanilla game, you would need the grappling hook, because when you get to the into Forest Haven, you kill all the chews and the DQ leaf spawns. There is a checkpoint to kind of make sure you've gotten the items already. So there is going to be a place where you have to use the grappling hook. And since I haven't gotten the grappling hook, I would not be able to do that. I'm gonna just aim more to the right because I don't too much to the left for some reason.
May I just say, we might not have DJ Pausa, but we do have DJ jump slash noise, and I'm so here for it.
This looks good. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
there we go. Okay, now the angle worked. I touched the bottom.
Nice, got the crush.
Beautiful.
Too.
Okay, so we get crushed and we respawn at the top right there. There we go. Okay, so now we're at the top, and like I said, the only reason to go to the top is because halfway down the bottom, right? Ooh. It's down there. Down there, there's a grappling hook area, so I have to normally be able to get that. Now, once I'm in here, I need to somehow spawn the DQ leaf, and I could technically just kill these chews normally, but if I were to do that, I would watch a cutscene and spawn at the bottom, undoing the whole glitch I just did. So I have to skip this cutscene, and it is a very complicated cutscene skip. But on a fundamental level, it's not that hard to understand. So the whole concept here is that I want to be voided out at the same time as the cutscene tries to play. Because what's
no right shoes. If you're not confident, I would roll clip and respawn up top and try again.
Yeah, I think so. So there's an RNG element here. So anyway, so these chews right here, you can see, actually, I can just showcase because it failed. So these chews are just going to be going forward right now, right? And their AI is pretty much disabled. So what my objective is to push them out of bounds. And once they go out of bounds, they will go really far out of bounds and then despawn. And that counts as them dying, which would be the same as if I were to actually kill them. But it's luck-based which angle they have towards that wall. So because none of them went to the right, I can do the setup to try and get crushed at the same time, meaning I'm going to have to reload the room from the top. That's very unfortunate. It's very unlikely that that happens, but it can happen. There we go. So I'm just going to clip out of bounds on purpose, and this is pretty much what the chews do, by the way. They just go out of bounds, they void out here, and then they're considered dead. Thankfully, like I said, there is at least a backup if you get the bad RNG right there. So we're going to go around here. I'm going to try again. So once again, get storage, get them into this glitch state where they're just sliding forward, and then try and set up so that we can get a crush. So.
And that's why we get storage, is it, on the chews. It just buys you enough time to get the crush to skip the cutscene. Otherwise, there just really isn't enough time to do it.
So let's see if we get better luck here. So we're going to store that cutscene so their AI is disabled. Need to get it one more time. Okay, this time we got one on the right, so that's all you need. That's all you need. That was almost unluck again. So now I have one on the right and I can try the glitch. It's still a very complicated glitch, but so I'm going to push all of these out. Remember, once they push out, slide forward for a while. I'll try and target this guy so you can actually kind of see. Let's see if he wants to push out there. So you can see he goes forward, starts falling down right there, and he despawns. So it's really just a way to make a delayed death happen. Because if you slash them with your sword, they would just die instantly. So what I'm going to try and do here now, it's very precise, is I'm going to try and push this last two out of bounds and then get crushed by this DK tree. So we're going to go over here. And then if I time this right, I have to count, so I have to be fully focused here. So I'm going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if this works.
Looks good.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's see. Nice,
Yeah, you
it
got it.
worked. Okay.
Hold on.
So I spawned at the top, the cutscene is skipped, and then we're good to go for the DQ leaf. Also, yes, collision, very funky. I'm able to land there. They pick up the DQ leaf, and believe it or not, that's all the items we need in the game now. That's it. I don't need any other items. I have the Tingle Tuner and I have the DQ leaf, and that is every item you need to be able to beat Wind Waker in 2025. So, yeah, so now we're on to Ganondorf. Which, if you watch previous runs, is very different from it used to be. So when I spawn back in now, you're also going to see I spawn a Windfall. Basically, Nintendo trying to prevent the sequence breaking will spawn us here. So right now, I'm using the Tingle Tuner. So my Game Boy is currently being connected to the thing. That's why it's connected right here with the Game Boy. It's going to send over, and basically what's on this Game Boy once it's connected is a live updating map, kind of like Wii U Gamepad was. But it also, more importantly, will have a little shop. Very overpriced, but a small shop where, like, hey, for 20 rupees, you can buy a red potion. Stuff like that. And that's what we specifically want. So once this is connected now, I am ready to start setting up the end game. So to get to the end of the game, I'm going to want to try and do the same glitch I did earlier, which is to have chest, to cancel this door. So I'm going to store this text box. I'm going to run over here. And now I'm going to try and cancel this 2 frames afterwards.
2 in a row,
Got
man.
it. Beautiful. That's what 80% of my run styles. It's very good to get that back to back. And now I'm going to go on down here, and now we're going to start the super swim. So we're going to super swim one more time. This is also the last super swim of the run. Like, that's it. This is the entire overworld. It might feel long because we did take 3 attempts on that Forest Haven climb, but it is very little that we actually do in the game of Wind Waker now in the overworld. We really just get the leaf, and that's it. That's the only thing we need. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to try and get another air refill, similarly to what I did last time. So I'm going to try and get close to this wall, hold up. There we go.
Linkus, I don't know when you unplug your Game Boy, but now would be a decent time to do an unplug. But
No, it's fine.
Cool.
Okay. It's fine. Okay, so we're going to head over here. Now, you're going to... Ooh, sure, that works. So, you're going to notice, like I said, collision, kind of strange with door cancel. So you're going to see this beautiful way that we can abuse it by... Remember I said earlier, there's no collision checks in front of us, but there is underneath us. So what if I just walk very slowly up on walls? So you can see here, instead of walking forward, let's sidewalk, because then it's just checking underneath me. So then let me just kind of walk up any wall that I want, so I can get to the very end of Forsaken Fortress right there. Then we can go here, and this is the loading zone that would take me to Forsaken Fortress 2, which is the midway point in the game. And we can also get up here by doing a couple of rolls. Oop, went a little bit too fast there. So because I went too fast, I saw it as a wall in front of me instead of underneath me. But that's fine, because we can just quickly do this. Slowly gonna be going up here. And that's fine. And now we can jump through the roof, get into the loading zone. And that's FF2.
Nice shot.
Now, we will have one long cutscene here, so if there's any donations, well, there's going to be donations.
There are donations. What a surprise.
Yeah, you can read some right now.
Okay, wonderful. I have $100 here from Totally Gatsby, who says, my 10-year-old has watched every GDQ with us since they were born. They wanted to donate for your best. Yeah-ha-ha! You found me! To keep the love running for...
I'm telling you, your impression is way better than I could ever do, so I don't know if I can even one-up that.
We also have $1,170 from Mama is Go, who says, we all love Legend of Zelda here. My toddler calls it open chest and wants Linkus to go fast and open chest. Best wishes to Linkus and all the rest of the runners this AGDQ.
I promise I'll go fast. There's unfortunately no more chests to be open, though.
It's okay, we opened like 2 whole chests. It was really cool.
That's true.
Do you still have time for more?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I've got $50 for you from OnBrand89, who says, love watching Linkus and how he absolutely crushes Wind Waker. Good luck on the run. Cannot wait for those Alan Wake 2 runs. So let's get the Lake House incentive met, which, by the way, is over halfway there. It's only $10,000 to go, everyone. Chad, I know you can do it. I also, would you like more impressions that I'm probably less good at, but
Let's do it.
Here's $50 from Big Mark 33, who says, thank you.
Hi, Beetle.
Beetle's donating a lot today.
No tinkle, though.
No tingle. Oh, come on, let's get a tingle. We also have $100 from Alligator, who says, had to donate during Linkus' Wind Waker run, as it's one of my favorite games. Audience, can you give me a sploosh? Oh, excellent. Thank you so much, everyone.
That was scary accurate if you did not notice. I'm very impressed. That was beautiful. All right, so now we're inside of Forsaken Fortress 2, and one thing I really want to note that is very important is that even though theoretically we could have gotten into Forsaken Fortress 2 with these few items probably 5 or 10 years ago in theory, the reason we've never done it before is because you need a lot of glitches to be able to do the rest of the game with only 3 items. Like everything you see in the top right, that's it, right? So this is another great example. So to beat Helmrock, I would need the Skull Hammer. To get the Skull Hammer, I need the Master Sword, etc., 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 right? It just keeps going on, which is why a lot of things have so many requirements that took so long to get over. So there is no way for me to kill Helmrock, so I have to skip him somehow. Thankfully, the new methods to skip Helmrock have actually gotten quite streamlined. So the first thing I want to do is get behind him for this first phase. So there's 2 phases. There's one here, and then there's one at the top. So I'm going to leaf around and grab the sledge to get behind him. And then what I'm going to do once I'm up here, he's kind of, he's waiting for me to attack him with the Skull Hammer. So I'm going to take down my health. And then once I get down to a little bit of lower health like this, I'm going to be doing this specific setup now. Now, shoutouts to EJ behind me. He's actually the one who found this. So you're going to sidle this wall, get damage, 1 sword slash, 2 sword slashes, C up, pause buffer until this frame, and if it worked, when I ledge grab here, I should be able to grab so far into the wall, I can just get underneath the floor and just skip all of the fight. And that's Helmrock. Now once we're here, we can just open up this door, and conveniently as well, while watching this cutscene, we're also going to get some free equipment we actually need. So we just got you can see we just got the shield, so thank you, game. Anytime an item, specifically like your sword or shield, is used in a cutscene, if you don't have it, it will just give it to you. And it's very generous like that, and we are going to be using the shield, so that is very convenient. And this is the final cutscene before Hyrule. Now, we're going to have so much to talk about that we can definitely take in a couple of donations before we get into the very glitch-heavy part of the run, if it hasn't already been glitch-heavy, but...
We can always have more glitches. I do have some donations for you, though. I've got $100 for you from Matt Lold, who says, hey, Linkus 7, you signed my Wii?
Sure, of course. It would be my honor.
Also, $25 from Haspar, who says, real ones, remember Linkus's infamous McDonald's order from AGDQ 2020.
We don't talk about that.
It was before my time, so I can't comment.
It was one of the first times I was in America, okay? I wanted to try the whole menu.
Do you have time for
Yeah,
one or two
more.
more?
Let's do it.
All right. I've got $75 for you from Old Two-Toe Sal, who says, oh, I just to donate for this run. Wind Waker is my all-time favorite game, and the ambiance and soundtrack got me through a lot of really hard times. When you combine that with the fact that Linkus is the first speedrunner I ever watched, I basically had no choice. Thank you! Beetle had to slip in there one more time.
Ganna liked it, he laughed at it. It was a good one. Yeah, no, now when we're heading down to Hyrule, now, if you've heard anything about Wind Waker speedrunning, I'm sure you've heard about barrier skip. Now, there is actually a new barrier skip that has been found, again. But before we get down there and we're at the end of these cutscenes, I think I want to send it over to Trog, because Trog is basically responsible for a lot, if not most, of the barrier skip discoveries in this game. So if you wanna take it away and explain a little bit of the history and how we have gotten to this stage, feel free.
Sure. Well, we'll keep it brief because that's going to be a long talk. But we'll talk about to get through the barrier, we need to do a thing called a seam clip. A seam clip is basically if you can move Link fast enough through two different polygons or two different walls, you can, in certain situations, pass right through them. And this is essentially what we're doing for barrier skip. It works in other places, but barrier skip here is what we're using it for. In order to do that, you need to have at least 36 units of speed. And so in reference, rolling is 26 units. So no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to roll through the barrier. I don't care how much you try. Okay, so historically what we've done is we've used something called a bomb push clip, where we pull bomb out, and on a specific frame, we stand in a very specific position, and we drop the bomb behind us. The bomb pushes Link, and we move 52 units of speed. And that's enough, if you're precise enough, to get through the barrier. The new method that got found does not need bombs, hence why we didn't get them, and hence why it saves a lot of time. Because what we found is that if you slash with your sword, if out of a walk or a roll, you have just enough speed. It's like 40 units of speed just to get right through that seam. So you're going to see Linkus coming here trying that out.
Yeah, we've definitely come a long way. If you go all the way back to the 2020 run of GDQ, you're going to see that I did something called after unloading. Long story short, we did a lot of glitches to make the barrier unload. Then we moved from, okay, we don't have to do the really slow method of unloading it. We can instead clip through it. And now we have gotten to the next stage, which is pretty much just slash through it. Almost intended, but not really. So we're gonna end trial right now. We're gonna get the short cutscene, and then we're gonna get to the back game. One time now, and one time at the very end. So because you have access to it from the start,